Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the KUWTK Kardashian Recap Season 3, Episode 8. I'm sorry, Kardashian Hulu Recap Season 3, Episode 8. Y'all, let's get into it because they hit us with the BS straight off the bat. Y'all, listen. Kylie comes over with her little cosmetic case. I believe she's doing Kourtney's makeup. I believe she can do makeup because, baby, she was doing anything she could to transform herself into Black China, right? And when the overline lips didn't work, she moved on to lip fillers. So yeah, she learned a thing or two about makeup. How else is she going to morph herself into every man she's ever dated, woman he was actually attracted to? Anyway, right? Because Kylie likes turning into types. Somebody like a light-skinned Black woman, I got you. Somebody like a Latina woman, I got you. Somebody like Persian, I got you. Somebody like Iranian, I got you. You know how she rolls, okay? So Kourtney starts a conversation. Khloe shows up and she's like, oh my God. They're like, wow, Khloe, you look really good. And she's like, shut up. My hair looks so stringy. Look at it. She's showing her real hair. Girl, we know y'all wanted to be part of the hit so fast. Welcome to the world of extensions. Yes, baby. Okay, so that happens. And then Kourtney opens up this completely, I love Kourtney, but yes, the producers are telling them what to say. She opens up this completely bull crap conversation talking about something. You know, the beauty standards. Khloe's trying not to laugh. So's Kylie. Then Kylie should get into acting. Forget Kim. Kylie looks like she's a good actress. She literally says, no irony out of her mouth. Yeah, you know, I just feel like the beauty standards, we have all this power and influence, but what are we using it for? She's saying this. So then she goes on to say, you know, I just look now and I see little girls on the app, like editing, like fully editing. And, you know, I went through that stage too. You went through that stage too. You went through that stage too. You went through what? Kylie, you look like Daffy Duck without the filter. And for those of y'all being like, oh, but she looked good in Kardashians. The Kardashians editing budget for Keeping Up and for Hulu goes into actual real-time editing on the video. Kylie now, the fact that she's like, I don't use face filters anymore because you finally found a pseudo spicy white version of your face that the injectable doctor gave you. Kylie then goes on to say that she doesn't use injectables. No, she never had surgery, only injectables. I don't understand how injectables are the new scalpel. And that's why Kylie goes into hiding every few months, because the filler starts migrating. You can get a whole new face with injectables. You don't need to cut anymore, right? Now, funny thing is, Khloe's sitting in the bathtub, actually looking like a wet dog, sitting in the bathtub, talking about something, like literally scared. They're going to be like, what about you, Khloe? Because we all know that Khloe, like at this point, I just think that none of their Instagrams are real. It's all artistic interpretations of their life. But the sad thing is, well, you know what? Hold on. Let me get some more into this conversation because it's not over. So then we see the real meaning of this PR piece, right? Kylie says in her green screen, you know, I think one of the biggest misconceptions about me is that I was like super shy and insecure when I'm not. I was always like super confident in myself. I was always like the person that wanted attention and wanted this and want that. And I don't want to be remembered as shy or blah, 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 blah. That's not what I want. And then she realized she told on herself and she was like, but you know, I want everybody to love themselves. No, you don't. Kylie is reinventing herself just like Kim. Kris Jenner, I think, sat the girls down and be like, listen, you can choose your backstory now. We've gotten so far that you can choose how future generations are going to remember you. And Kylie was like, I don't want people to think I was insecure. I want to be like basically she's trying to say, she was always outgoing. She was always the most boisterous. She was always super confident. You know, the Kylie we see now that's like almost like hyper sex kitten, hyper Leo confidence, hyper this and that. That's who we want. She wants us to believe that that's who she is. But girl, if that's who you were, you wouldn't be hiding in your house like 10 months out of the year. You know what I'm saying? Y'all, but let's continue. That's how Kylie wants to be remembered. Baby, we'll remember you forever as a super confident, yes, girl boss, lipstick mogul who literally laid on her back to seduce the guy that she babysat for so she could get her black fiance out of the house. Why is her color important? Well, because Kylie mocked her in court about it. To play stepmommy while Tiger cheated on you all up and down, only for you years later to go back and try to rub it in Blac Chyna's face that you had no idea what they were, whether they were engaged or not. Man, let's continue. Sick of them already. But hold on, this episode gets better. So then Khloe jumps in the conversation and she's like, I also had these things. I was like chubby in a bodycon dress. I had the most confidence, but society picked me apart. And that's when I was like, it really damaged my self-esteem. So then she goes, oh, green screen. It's like society will because I didn't look like my sisters. I was the odd one out. I was picked apart. And then you do all these things. You do fillers. I had a nose job. And then it's still not enough for you. You can't listen to what other people say. And listen, that is true. But the fact that Khloe is not acting like Kim wasn't the person ripping her apart, that made her feel like she needed to change her whole face, like her own mother didn't call her ugly and tell her to get a nose job. The fact that and here's the thing about Khloe and Kylie. No. You were raised by a mother that taught you that the most beautiful wins at life, and that you must be a beautiful simulation of what the patriarchy says is beautiful that time. And you guys fed into it. And that's fine. But you did it to gain power. You wanted it is because that's the way you recognize power. And you rub your power in everybody's face every time you can. Khloe, remember when you called Jordan ugly and fat? Remember that? And this is my issue with Kylie and Khloe. You guys are mean girls who want everybody to have sympathy for your origin story, but you're out being mean to everybody else. Let's continue. So then Khloe points out the obvious, and she says, if mom had never said that I needed a nose, said anything about my nose, would I have gotten a nose job? And Khloe's like, I know, mom used to talk about your nose all the time. So again, you keep talking about society and viewers and the internet, but really your issue is with Kris Jenner. Talk to your mama. So then Kylie says, do you guys realize, remember when you guys used to always talk about my ears? And Khloe and Kourtney are like, huh? And she's like, remember you guys talked about my ears? And Khloe was like, I said I love them. She's like, well, I didn't see it as that. It made me feel weird. And Kourtney was like, oh my God, I had no idea. I used to always be like, oh my God, you're so cutie. And she's like, yeah, but I didn't do an updo for 4 or 5 years. And now, and I'm like, yeah, I get it. But they keep missing the point. It's like, yeah, be careful with your words. But the fact that Kylie was using this as a point of bullying, when they weren't bullying you, you were just a kid that you were so self-conscious. Anyone that pointed anything out about you, you took in a negative light, which I will say was probably because your mom put everything in a negative light. And then she has the nerve to say, I used to always wear my hair in never wore it in an updo. That's not true. We have plenty of pictures of you wearing your hair in an updo. She said until Stormi was born, and then I saw my ears. Girl, you saw your ears? Did you see your lips? Did you see your face? Kylie is so sick for this, honestly. And this is my issue with the Kardashians. And then we'll move on, right? They want to be victims so bad. They want everybody to feel sick. And I'm not saying they're not human and they don't deserve empathy or forgiveness or whatever. But then the way they move outside of that is so grimy. You just want people to care about what hurt you. You do not care how you guys specifically hurt hundreds and thousands of people. Remember, Kylie, when you lied about what gave you fuller lips? And there were kids getting cuts from sucking their lips into shot glasses and putting that stupid plastic thing on, causing real damage to their lips. All because you lied to them and told them that you didn't get surgery because you wanted to look like Little Miss Perfect. This is what I mean. You talk about the damage that people did to you, but are you going to actually take accountability to the damage you did to a whole generation? Oh, so by the way, then Kourtney's green screen was like, listen, I remember my mom made us like, I felt like she was a perfectionist. She tried to make us basically feed into the patriarchal standard for what women should look like. And she said, I'm going to give my kids more freedom not to be like so perfect. So then Khloe jumps in and is like, yeah, like we don't want to pass that on to our kids. You mean your child that every picture you were either throwing a filter on her, photoshopping her features, putting extensions in her. Well, forget about the extensions. That's stupid. But because, yeah, most little kids wear some type of extensions, braids, like whatever. So I'm not going to say that. But also you lighten her skin in pictures because you don't think you know what? Let's move on. Anyway, Kylie like makes her last thing for us to make sure that we see her as human, even though Kylie is always bullying somebody online, or it looks like. I'll say one thing: Kylie's skin looks fantastic, but she's in her 20s. And also her hair. I really like this haircut on her. And listen, her new fillers, mwah, chef's kiss. Combined with the filters, you are in your era, Kylie. You are in your era. Anyway, let's move on. So then we stop over at Kourtney. Apparently, what's her name? Kylie was doing her makeup because she had like this poolside with Poosh, you know, her little content. She had the smoothie at Erewhon. Erewhon is like a supermarket for the uber rich, or the wannabe uber rich in California, I think Los Angeles. It was super cute. There were people swimming in the pool. Kourtney looked real relaxed. Funny thing is, Khloe, because Khloe don't got anything to do. Khloe and Kim never show up for Kim's events. However, Kris showed up, and so did Kendall. Kylie didn't show up because Miss Empowered doesn't like being seen. Miss Empowered doesn't like being seen outside of the house without her 5011 filters. So you know there's that, right? It was a super cute event. Kourtney made a point of saying, you know, I'm sitting here, I'm surrounded by my friends, no real family. Yeah, it was a really fun event. Miranda Kerr was there. All of Kourtney's friends were there, business associates. It was really, really fun. I will say one thing, right? And this is why I don't understand why Kris doesn't realize she needs to work with Kourtney. Listen, Kris Jenner is a marketing genius. Genius! But I think one of the reasons Kim and them are really starting to fall off, it's because, don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about Skims and Good American, because Emma Gerd isn't responsible for that. She's the marketing genius. But I will say one of the reasons why I think it's actually like starting to fall off is because, let's be real, Kris Jenner is a genius, but everybody becomes dated. She knows like the old game, but when it comes to having your finger on the pulse of youth culture and youth, Landon and his girlfriend Charlie D'Amelio was there. I know, however you say her name. When it comes to having your finger on youth culture and how that moves American mass culture, Kourtney is just a creative. You know, she has her finger on it. Now, again, does she have her finger on what 16-year-olds like? No, because like that's not Kourtney's vibe. But she understands, she is unique in the fact that she can take all these references and cultural references and make it relevant to people her age and people younger. And that's really, really important. And that's what Kris is missing. And if Kris would just listen to Kourtney and value her, I really think she could become her little secret weapon. But I don't think that Kourtney is interested in becoming her secret weapon to idolize and boost Kim up. That's all I'm saying, but let's keep going. Then we are going over to Kim. She is at the storage units. It's the day of her divorce was actually finalized, right? And she's going through the storage unit. She says that she is a memory hoarder, and she decided to spend this day with all of Ye's stuff. And she's going there being like, you know, I'm a memory hoarder, and this is just hard. And my marriage, so many good things came out of it. Girl, you came out of it. And, you know, and so many things good came out of the divorce. So I'm at peace with this. And I'm like, wow, like I had no idea Kim was so emotional and not money grubbing like Kourtney described her. And until Kim lets what's really going on slip, Kanye had 32 storage units. She's like, he had 32 storage units when I met him, and now he only has 3. Okay, first of all, he had 32 small public storage. You actually had him rent out 3 warehouses. So Kim, stop acting like whatever. Second of all, Kim is so money grubbing hungry. She said, can you imagine, and status, can you imagine your Sweet 16 party when she has merch tables and she can give this stuff away? And then she stops because it's like, you told on yourself. You're keeping all this stuff because you know the value. You look at this as money. Even now, she's like, I keep every single Yeezy, and there's like 300 pairs of Yeezy. Y'all, she thinks that she's going to sell this in every size and keep it for generations until they become limited edition collectors. And then it will become part of the family value, family trust, a way to sell money. Kim is not sick. It's actually disgusting. Kim is obsessed with things, material things. It's not the memories. They're asking Kim, how do you know what's like a sample and what's not? Oh, because I know. You know, because it's just happened a few years ago. Like the fact that they are literally trying to act like Kim is walking through a storage unit from 20 years ago. You were at the fitting. Shut up, Kim. You don't know. Kim doesn't know anything about wearing stuff, anything about fitting, anything about styling, anything. And now you're like, I guess, Kim, fake it to you. I don't know, right? So yeah, that's her plan. Even the way she's like, oh, we're getting rid of stuff. And she's taking like limited edition, not even, but samples. So they're one of a kind. Do you know what she's going to do with that? She's going to sell it for money. You could have literally given this to, but you're selling it. You could have given it to, donated it, not even to like whatever, but like to kids, to scholarships, whatever. No. Kim's not going to do any of that because at the end of the day, Kim wants to make money, and she has cataloged everything that Kanye ever made, created. You guys, there are 3 warehouses. I mean, warehouses you could get lost in that has every pair of Yeezys ever made in every size, right? Every item that was ever made in every size, one of each. God, how greedy can one person be? And then the fact that Kim is trying to let us think it's sentimental, maybe because even people that are greedy, it's motivated by a lack of insecurity. I honestly don't know what it is. And I see what Kourtney's point is when she's like, Kim, maybe you should talk to someone to find out like what exactly is wrong with you, because there's something driving you. But at this point, if Kim doesn't care, neither do I. Y'all, Kim gonna be in a world of hurt when Kanye recreates this whole thing with Bianca. And Bianca she gonna be in a world of hurt. But let's keep going. Then Kim is standing there saying that she only does it to remember the good times and she's doing it for her kids, while she is, in no irony, literally putting things in a pile to sell, things in a pile for merch tables. Man, and then she's like, my dad was the best dad and I would never want to deprive that experience from my children. How? Okay. And then she says, so, I'm doing this for them, so hopefully they'll see this as a tribute and they'll think it's really cool. Oh, sure, Kim, but you're also setting them up so that if they ever need to sell anything. But anyway, let's move on. I'm sick of Kim's BS. Wait, it's like, girl, this is a straight cash move, and it's your cash move to make. I'm happy you're making it. Like, get it how you live it, right? Kanye is not a god. You can defile whatever you want in him. But this is my issue with Kim. Girl, just be a little like for real. Good. You divorced Kanye, yeah. But the issue with Kim is you are so phony and fake about your reasons for doing it. You want to be seen as like the next Mother Teresa. Let's keep going. All right, so now we meet up with Kourtney and Khloe, and they're giving each other lie detector tests for Vanity Fair. Whoever messed up Khloe's mind, I actually do feel sorry for Khloe. She walks into the scene and she literally looks like Jim Carrey from The Mask when the mask like forced him to put him on his face. Khloe looks like she is wearing a mask. God, I guess whatever she did to her face hasn't settled. She can barely talk. She looks like she is like embalmed. Y'all, I don't know what you would have to feel about yourself to do that to yourself and think it looks better than just what God gave you. And the weird thing is, I always thought Khloe was a cute girl. And even when she was showing pictures of people being like, oh my God, look how fat I am. Look how fat. I agree with Kourtney, where she was like, Khloe, you were never fat. Ever. Ever. It's sad. It's sad when you see that someone can't love themselves, so they get with people that don't love them. It's super, super sad. I mean, I guess that's how she got with Tristan. And you know what I honestly do think? I think that Khloe's self-esteem is so on the floor. Honestly, if Tristan actually said, baby, let's be together, Khloe would run away screaming. I really honestly believe that. Anyway, Kourtney asked her, you saw it on Vanity Fair, like, you know, you sleeping with Tristan. She was like, no, I'm not. Girl, the question is, are you talking to Tristan? Right? Because I'm sure Khloe thinks she's punishing Tristan by not giving him any good. And Tristan's happy because he don't got to wash his dingling off in the sink. You know what I'm saying? Even better. I get all the benefits and I don't got to worry about like smelling you. Some other girl smelling you on me. Please. Anyway, then she acts like, you know, do you like my wedding dress? She was like, I would have preferred to see you. Khloe, shut up. I would have preferred to see you in this and that. Okay, fine, whatever. It's whatever. So now they switch times and it's time for Khloe to ask Kourtney questions. And she was like, do you hate your sisters? Are you this? Are you that? Oh, interesting enough. Kourtney asks, is there a family group chat that happens without me? And Khloe's like, actually, no. You know why? Because it's not a family group chat. It's her, Kris, and Kim. Kendall and Kylie are like, leave me out of this. Okay, so let's see what Kourtney had to say. So anyway, it comes back and she's like, Kourtney, do you hate any of your siblings? And Kourtney's like, no. And she's like, Sam, that's the lie detector person. And they're like, she's telling the truth. And Khloe's like, bravo. But let's, and then anyway, they skip past all the other questions. And then, what's her name says, well, Khloe, I'm going to thank you. I'm sorry. Well, Kourtney, I'm going to thank you for being so honest with me. And Kourtney's like, yeah. And then there's a green screen and Kourtney's like, I think me and Khloe, like, we just gotten to a point where we just vibe and it's so much fun. And I'm like, wow, Kourtney is in such a love bubble. She cannot see that Khloe is actually super angry at her. I don't know for what, but she is super angry at you and she does not wish you anything well, but she can't see it because she's in her love bubble. Anyway, Kourtney's like, well, anyway, I gotta go because I have to go to neural feedback. And then Khloe yells really quick too. Well, yeah, I have things to do too. I have ish to do. Okay, thanks, Khloe. Let's keep going. So then we have the night of Travis's birthday party. And actually, Khloe was there and it was a surprise party. Oddly enough, Kim came to the surprise party literally 10 minutes after they yelled surprise. So I don't know if she was sitting in the parking lot or not. But Khloe was there supporting. And I don't understand the way they're always looking for something negative. Travis walks in, they're like surprised, and Travis is like, oh my God, right? His kids are there, it's having a great time. His son, Landon, actually missed, so Khloe took everybody out to Tennessee for Travis's birthday. But Landon couldn't be there. So Landon was like, yo, can you help me throw a surprise party? And Kourtney was like, of course. I love the way she's so cool with Landon, Alabama, and Atiana, right? So then what happened? Okay, so they yell surprise. She's like, oh my God, baby, did you know? And he was like, oh my God, no, I was so surprised. And I love Travis and the way he loves Kourtney. He's always like, happy birthday, my baby. I love you. I love you. I love you. But it's in a way that he's always making sure that he knows he wants Kourtney to know you're my number one. You're this, you're that. But it's so authentic too. Like, happy birthday. Cheers, my baby. I love you. And Kourtney just eats it up. You know, she's into that. It's nice when you can find somebody to speak your love language. Some people might find that cheesy, but for the people that don't, you want somebody to do that too. I think it's like so sweet. So then Kim comes in and she's like, did you have any idea? And Khloe's like, I mean, even with all these balloons. And Travis is like, I wasn't even thinking that? Like, why would I walk into a place I wasn't even paying attention? I thought we were just going to go eat. And Kim's like, oh, you didn't know of all these people here? Like, basically trying to say like he was faking. There's some weird energy, I will say, between Kim and Travis, but I feel like it comes from Kim more than anything. She even walks up to Travis and she's like, here's your birthday present, Travis. Happy birthday to. And then Kourtney looks at her like, what? And she like laughs and hands the present to Kourtney. I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, it is a great day. They're laughing, joking, cheersing. Good for you, Kourtney. I will say, out of all the Kardashians, Kourtney makes living life look fun. You know, like, yes, that's what you do when you got a lot of money and a lot of time. Get to it. Not like Kim and Khloe walking around acting like they're so busy trying to conquer the world, not doing ish. But let's keep going. So anyway, we get to this episode. I hope next week is like a doozy. It gets to Kylie and Kendall, and they're just like, they're meeting Kim. Kim has more stuff. At a certain point, and I'll be honest with you, I know this might be the way rich people live, and maybe that's why they don't actually, like, generational wealth is quiet, because I actually look at it as a little bit vulgar and little disgusting. How much shit do you need? How much shit do you have to have? Even the clothes. Like, you're not doing it to express yourself as an art form. You're doing it, well, I guess it's part of her business and part of her image, right? She can't come, but it's like, how much do you need? And even the shit you don't want anymore, you sell it. It's just like so vulgar. But anyway, they start talking about her marriage. And, you know, Kimberly, who never wants her children to know that their dad wasn't a good person, says, after all the mean things he's done to me, nobody knows. Nobody knows the mean things. The kids have like no idea. Way to go, Mother of the Year. So you're letting everybody know that your kid's father did mean stuff to you, which is your right. But then you want to be the Virgin Mary because the kids and nobody else knows, even though you're announcing this across the world. The Kanye West, you're trying to imply that he abused you. Like, what is she saying? Anyway, Kendall's like, you know, but that's who you are, Kim. You know, I couldn't have done it. I give you props for being so strong. And then Kylie's like, but that's who we are as a family. We just are so forgiving and just forgive people. And that's just who we are. Girl, that's who you are to the men in your family. Put a woman in that place. Put a girl in that place and watch how those claws come out. But let's keep going. Forgiving and loving. That's when you realize this whole scene is nothing but PR for Kim to come across as she doesn't agree with Kanye's anti-Semitic, you know. She's like, you know, and then there was like a stocking and North wanted to post a stocking. And I'm like, oh my God, everybody's going to think I agree with them. And Kylie's like, well, that's just silly. It's just a stocking. But you know what's not silly? You know, in this whole mess and this whole thing about Kanye and what he said about, you know, black people, all this other stuff, Kim never came out and said, how dare you, this and that. Like, the issue is this is all focusing on how Kim feels, how her life's affected, the way people are going to look at her, the way this and that. Girl, there are people that are actually oppressed that deal with this, and you never once spoke to their pain, empathy, or even said two words about how that would make Jewish people feel or black people feel. It's all about how it affects you and your life, and oh my God, this is a nightmare. Girl, I guess. Let's keep going. Anyway, they really make us sit there and watch for 3 minutes, them literally having a circle talking about what great people they are and how they just heal and deal and whatever. Y'all, somebody get Kris Jenner off the 1 and 2s. Can we get some fun? Can we get some drama? Can we get anything except for them talking about what good people they are and how they just turn the other cheek? Gosh, yes, we get it. This is the Last Supper. But all y'all Judas. Let's keep going. Okay, so then we're back to Kris, Khloe, and Malika. And they are in a chauffeured SUV going to the People's Choice Awards, I believe it is, for the newest award that Kris probably paid for or bartered. I will say one thing. It is a completely joyless ride in silence. Like, in silence. It sounds like somebody's going to somebody's funeral. And, you know, Kris tries to lighten it because, you know, she has to give the girls what they need. And she's like, wow, True's getting so tall. And Khloe's like, I know. She's so tall. And then he was like, she was like, the baby, he's huge. He fits into a 9 and 12, and he's only 4 months. And then Chris is like, well, he can be as big as he wants because he's a cutie. And Khloe just cuts her look. And I was like, Chris spent all of Khloe's childhood telling her she's ugly, and that baby looks just like her. So Khloe literally gave her mom a look like, shut up. Anyway, it was a really weird, awkward tension. They get there, then they start talking about Khloe's jumpsuit. She has to be sewn into it. Then they do this weird editing where Malika's like, come here, let me just fix your hair, because her hair fell or her extensions fell out. And Malika's like, come here, let me just fix your hair. And they go backstage. And then like Khloe gets called for the award, but Malika was just backstage. And now Malika is sitting next to Chris talking about, oh my God, where's Khloe? Yeah, okay. I don't know where Khloe was, but something tells us they don't want us to know either. So let's just move on because, again, and I don't think, listen, if there are any people lurking in the Reddit threads or comment section, please let the Kardashians know. Can we have a little bit more c'est la vie, a little bit more joy about all the cool things that happen in your life instead of acting like it's a burden? Everything is a burden. Khloe gives Eeyore energy. The only thing that will make her happy is Tristan finally settling down with her. And we all know that ain't happening. So let's move on. So then Khloe like shows up on stage. She's stumbling around. Chris is moving her around like she had one too many cocktails, mocktails, whatever you want to call it. Then Khloe finally gets to go to the bathroom. Wow, this was such an important scene. I'm glad they left it in. And then Khloe's like, she tries to show that life isn't perfect. And I'm like, has she talked to her Instagram feed about this? She tries to show this, she tries to show that. But she ended up in a porta potty with a handful of hair. And again, I get it. It's not about like external things, but we are watching a show to be entertained. Girl, bye. Let's move on. So now we're at Kourtney's house, and Khloe and Kim roll up, not together, but separately, within 5 minutes apart, with their matching Bentleys. I don't understand. And Khloe's like miserable. Like, girl, I see a little like, what are you happy for? And if you're not happy, like, give it all away and go somewhere else. It's like you want all the trappings of life, but then you're miserable. Anyway, Kim rolls up, and I don't know who is filming. I think it's kind of like Pimp My Ride from like 2008, because they always have these like rap video, not rap videos, but like a rapper video. That's what it looks like. Hold on, let's get into this. So Kourtney's making notes because she wants to talk about Kim, about the apology that Kim gave her a couple of weeks ago, that when she gave it to her, Kourtney just looked at her and said, yeah, thanks for apologizing. Let's keep going. Okay, so Kim comes in and sits down, and she's wearing that same gray sweatsuit because she's trying to act like she's still sad over the divorce with Kanye, even though she was celebrating all month. But okay, girl. I guess she figures it's a bad look. Okay. So anyway, Kourtney's there with her notes, and she's like, listen, I want to talk to you. Oh, first of all, Kourtney means business. She's like, listen, I really want to preserve a relationship with my sister. And the thing is, she is definitely using the language about you are 10 seconds away from cutting your sisters off. And she's like, but I want something real. I want to do this. So she starts talking to Kim. Off the bat, she was like, I want to talk about, like, you know, when you apologize. And Kim was like, oh, are we still talking about that? And Kourtney's like, yeah. So then and she was like, listen, I want to like figure out like what's driving you. Kourtney comes off the bat being like, what the hell is wrong with you? And Kim's like, well, you know, I just want to make sure that like I never have to depend on anyone. And Kourtney's like, you haven't had to depend on anyone for a while. Basically saying like, Kim, you can't say this need is because you have a food insecurity. Like, Kim, you've been rich for a minute. Like, stop it. And she's like, well, you know, I definitely do like see something and be like, oh, maybe I can make one business. Oh, I did that. Let me see if I can do it again. And again, let me see if I can do it 3 times. But she's like, but it's not with you guys. Like, I would never do that with you guys. So Kourtney's like, yeah, see, I think you need to figure out what's driving you. And, you know, basically, Kourtney was calling Kim soulless, and Kim, it just kept going over her head because she just can't see that, like, okay, girl, like, Kim, do you see like what the situation is? Do you see what the problem is? Do you see why Kourtney has a problem with you? She doesn't. Why? Because Kris and Khloe kissing up to Kim. Well, not Kris just likes that part. You know, she likes the way Kim is, and she wish all the girls were like Kim, where they put money over everything and they weren't like yelling at her about like, oh, you weren't my childhood, or you were too tough, or you were too much a perfectionist. Because Kim's the only one being like, yeah, you were all those things, but guess what? You made us into who we were, so thank you. So for Kourtney to have to be right, that means Kris and the way she raised the kids and what she sacrificed for them to actually be billionaires or fake millionaires, that would have to be, she would have had to been wrong. It would have had to been a waste of time and like really off the mark. And Kris doesn't want to admit that. You know, she created Little Millionaires, but you know, and Khloe doesn't want to admit that because Khloe just likes being on team winning. You know, before that, Kris and Kim made her sit at the ugly table. She did. They did. That's a funny thing. The fact that Khloe is rolling out so deep with Kim, when Kim was the main one that used to mock her. I remember when Kim told Khloe when she was pregnant, you looked a fool like Barney, and said that she was embarrassed to be seen on the street with her in Japan, you know, like old school Kim. But now that Khloe's like, you know, chopped and screwed her face, you know, weight train slash filler fix a flat, like, you know, pumped up her body, surgery. And now that she fits the mold and she's a good aesthetic look for being around Kim, right? Now, all of a sudden, she's trying to preserve the status quo that a couple of years ago was trying to crush her underneath her shoe. And the fact that Kourtney really is the odd one out. They're literally looking at like Kourtney like she's the one that has a problem. Like she's the one that needs to like get a grip, because Kourtney is going against what the family system is saying is true. Now, I do want to say one thing. Why everybody's asking like, why are Kim and them attacking her? Because if you guys don't know, systems, whether they're healthy systems or toxic systems, protect themselves. And that's why if you are trying to do something to threaten the system, even if you're trying to do something in a more healthy manner, the system Freudian slip, the system will literally start to, they'll start to attack you, because your idea, your voice, whatever it is a direct threat to the way of life and the way they do things. Systems protect themselves. If not, systems will not be able to survive. Whether or not the Kardashian system is a healthy one, I don't know. But they are rallying around the system to protect a way of life that Kourtney is threatening. But let's get back to this. Oh, so after all this stuff, and Kourtney tries to have a conversation with her, and it falls on deaf ears, Kourtney does what she's been doing, ducking out. She's like, okay, well, I gotta go. And they're like, where? And she's like, I got this thing to do downtown. I'll talk to you later. That's right, Kourtney. Don't let them bother you. Get in, get out. When you're not getting the reaction you need, instead of like arguing with them and crying and all this stuff so they can mock you, just leave. You tried, didn't work. You'll try again. But you're not letting them engage you to the part that it grabs your emotions. And I think that's what's really making Kim and Khloe mad. Well, at least Kim. I don't think Khloe cares either way. I think Khloe's just being like a minion for Kim. But what else is new? Let's keep going. Anyway, we get to the preview. Did you know the season finale is next week? They're finally going to exploit Tristan's mom's passing for some things. And at the end of the day, I can't even get mad at Khloe about this. This is Tristan. It is such in poor taste for you to, it's just poor taste. It's his hurt, his whatever. I won't judge, but baby, it's poor taste. You know, Kris is crying because for some reason she keeps thinking about how this circus is going to run without her. Spoiler alert, it won't, Kris. And that's why she is like looking for someone to head the family, because she knows as much as she tries to blow smoke up them, nobody actually has what it takes to run this family. What else is going on? You know, we talk about Kourtney's brand ambassadorship of Boohoo. You know, I guess that came out, and Chris and them didn't want to protect her because she did something outside the coven. But you know what? I do have to agree with Kourt. She did it for sustainability, and I get that. But y'all, it's not one person's thing. But that said, let me see what this outrage is about before I start speaking on it, because they might actually have something. The Kourtney actually might have effed up. So you know what? I'm going to research this and I'll speak on it on the next episode. All right, guys, let me know what you think in the comments. I hope you enjoyed Kardashian Hulu recap and review season 3, episode 9. All right. Talk to y'all later. Bye.